Well, hi guys, welcome to the session. My name's Paul, this is Plan Zed, and I haven't been able to do any posts for a little while, but I'm keen to get diving into reverbs and effects, so I've set aside a little place in my GT1000 where I'm gonna have banks of the reverbs. So we've got 10 different reverbs: Terra, Dual, Shimmer, Spring, Ambient, Plate. Then we've got a couple of rooms and we've got a couple of halls. So I've given each one a bank, and then in each bank we've got version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5. And you're going, Paul, that's a hall reverb, doesn't sound like a hall. I know, I want to get a lot out of my reverb. So in each of these reverbs, we're going to be trying different things, dialing in different things. Let's have a little look. Let's, where are we? 5. Yeah, that might be an interesting place to start. So I'll cover the amps and EQs in the amp deep dive. But what you need to know is we've got 2 notes cab amp, dynamic IRs on my main amp, and the wets are being fed into a divide here where we go to the sub outs. But if you were just using a GT1000 in a regular way, your signal chain would look more like this, where you've got the 2 cabinets next to each other, 2 outputs next to each other, and you'd have a wet dry. Now I'm not going to play anything because both my cabinets are on and everything would be going into the one cabinet. Everything would be going into both cabinets. But here what would be happening is you've got your dry signal coming along here, meets up at the end of the divide with everything we're going to be doing in the wets. Okay, so that's what that would look like if you were just running this in a conventional way. I'm live looping and I route things in a slightly unusual way to many. So what I want to get out of this reverb, before we get to the reverb, let's have a little look at how things are set up. The cabinet. Now obviously the microphone and cabinet we use is going to change the sound of the reverb. So but in these sessions, for these templates, I'm starting out on the blend B, medium, center, 100% level. We've got the stereo link on, and we're using the appropriate cabinet from the last update for each of the amps. Okay, and we're going to be using Voxes in these sessions. Then I've got a compression here. Now the compression is just bringing everything up to a level, okay, where it will poke through and it's being glued together. Okay, now I'm starting out with this. We might experiment, and I can also use this if I want to get more level out of something. I can use my compression to help me get more out of something as we're dialing things in. So hopefully this could help us get a little bit interesting across these videos. You'll see what I mean a bit later, hopefully. Now we've got a divide here where I'm going to be doing some jiggery pokery across the different templates. Have each got different things set up. Now in this template 5, we've got the hall 1, and when the heel is back, the time is on 1, and it's fully extended. Sometimes in different patches it will be on 2 or 3 as the time that the heel is back, but when the toe is forward it's always maxed out. Okay, and in this patch I've got the tone at 25. Commonly across the patches I'm playing with the tone and the pre-delay and these 4 here: the low cut, the high cut, the low damp, and the high damp. They really change how your reverb sounds. And we'll be experimenting with these across these different patches. So let's just, I've fully extended the heel now. I should mention we've got a compression on down here. We have a compressor after the first EQ. But coming back to the verb, This one's dialed in this way, and as I say, I'll be playing around with these, and I'll be doing shorter videos after this video where we do a proper deep dive into each of the verbs. Each verb will have its own dedicated video. But I was just setting up the shooting gallery for it, and I want to show you a few of the things that I want to try doing. So for example, we can try different effects. So what have I got in here? We've put a slicer in here. Now we'll be able to play around with this slicer. We've got lots of different settings in the slicer we can choose. I've just got us started with a very simple setting, a bit like a tremolo, and the tremolo features in the first patch. But I've also got in here, what have I got in here? So now we've got some ring modulation happening. So I'm using the divide here to split where I send the signal. So this slicer will remain on, and I might have this, when we get deeper into this patch, set the trigger to be to trigger off, because it puts us in time when it starts slicing, if I trigger it in time. But let's put the slicer on our ring modulator. Now what we could do here is we could, for example, set this patch up. Yeah. So we can do different things. We're going to be experimenting with different effects. Let's come out of that patch. Now, the only things changing in these patches is what's happening in this end area. Nothing else changes in the patch apart from what I'm doing in here. Now, in this one, what have I used here? So I've used the ring modulation again, but this time the intelligence is off. I probably need it on, innit? Oh, let's put the, yeah. So it's just doing things in a very slightly different way. The verb itself is tone at 25. As I say, we're going to dive deeper into these settings in the dedicated deep dive videos. But in here, we've also got a slow gear. Now all of the patches are set up that I can actually solo the wets. So for example, we could, let's stick on the ring modulation with that. Actually, you know what, let's take the ring modulation off. Let's put different things in separately. So what we'll do is, I'm just going to start up a beat, just show you a quick idea of how I might use something like this. Now, live looping, I've got a RC600 on the floor. So I'm just going to start a beat. This will only take a moment. Just want the beat so I can do something in time. So now I'm going to switch the effect, and I'm going to go to the ring modulation, go to my back pickup, and I might just stick on a treble boost. Okay, now I'm going to engage the dry channel, take off all the effects, go to my neck pickup, super wet, you might not get away with that at a venue. And if that was too loud, my wets were too loud, all you do when you turn up to a venue, let's go to, I think it's in the up, let's go to total, and then here we've got control over the reverb level. Now here I've got it maxed at 200, but if this was too loud for a venue, I can back it off. Yeah, but I'm not at a venue, I'm live looping, and we're going live direct to my iPhone, so we can get away with it. Now what we're going to do is come out of that patch. I'm going to keep the beat going, and I'm just going to get rid of those loops. Right, now we just got me on my arm. Gonna bring the heel back. So it's nice being able to get to the different places in the reverb. So now let's go to version 3, where this one's a little bit darker than the last one. Here I've dialed in the verb, so we're a bit darker. I'm just going to crank the verb up. And what we've got going on here is we've got a CE1 chorus, the rate at around 20 or 30. We're cranking the depth, we're cranking the level, and I've got the power amp or the preamp on. Now I'm using it to get distortion into the reverb, so I'm cranking there, but bringing the level back. I'm running in stereo, and I'm running after that a classic vibe. This is just the CE1. Vibe sounds fantastic there on that reverb. I think I've used the Univibe a couple of times across these patches. Let's come back to both pickups. Let's take that Univibe off. We'll see here I've got the tone down a bit, and I'll be playing with things slightly differently. Look, I'm cranking the damps there. But let's not get distracted too much with that for the moment. We'll get deeper into that in the other videos. Let's listen to version 2. Before we do, let's just hear one quick stab on here. And here again, I'm using a Univibe and a ring modulation. Now this ring modulation is set up more like a tremolo, but like a tremolo that dropped acid. We can drop the Univibe on it. Now we can, if we want to, go completely wet, as we can in all of the patches, but I've also got in my send return in all of them the SY300 from Boss. Now the SY300 is only receiving dry signal from GT1000 before the amps, but after compression and drives and fuzzes and things like this. Sounds cool being able to do that. Let's introduce the guitar. We're just listening to the Univibe again. It's on the darkest one of the reverbs. I really like the vibe of that. It's going to be great to put some phasers, flanges, other effects in that position. So let's come out of there and let's hear our last verb, which is really our first one, so our version 1. More surprises in this one as well. So we've got a few different things going on in here. Again, we can solo this one, but we've got the tone in the middle for this one. And I have a tremolo going into the divide, and we have a distortion, 60s fuzz on one side. Now I just want to point out with the tremolo here, excuse me, what's really happening is the tremolo stays on, and I've got it set up in two slightly different ways. When I engage things, so let's just, when I engage things in this channel soloed, the trigger is hit and the direct mix comes up to 50. So we have a bit of the reverb coming through. And the trigger actually triggers you in time. So it starts the tremolo when you hit the button. Are you with me? Now you want the direct mix at 0 here, otherwise you're doubling up on your dry signal when it's off, okay? So to keep your level when you unaffected, you need that dry mix down. Now I'm using it in two slightly different ways, as I say. So here, when it's soloed, I have some dry mix. But when I use it to just put a tremolo on the verb, I don't have any of the dry mix come through. So there's two different assigns for the tremolo there. And when I solo it, just running a bit of reverse delay before the reverb, but not letting it come through, just letting it trigger the verb. Okay, so what we're going to do now is come out of there quickly, and we're going to take the Hall 1 version 1, and we're going to save it in a place I've got delegated for Hall 2. Let's do the same with the second one. Let's do them all, why not? So have you had a good day then? Good, good. All go to plan? Good, good. That's what we like to hear. Hopefully it didn't get too messy. No, it was alright. I actually had a really good day, thanks. Been a bit tricky of late, you know. Life throws you curveballs, as it does. Right, so now let's change that verb. So I'm going to do a little. Okay, more lows, less highs straight away. Just going to save that. Go to the next one, do the same thing. Quite like that. Oh, I left the delay on. Did I save that patch like that? Did I? Oh, let me just save that with that off. And what we'll do is now change that verb. Yeah, let's just check. Yeah, they definitely sound less lows, more highs. Less highs, more lows. So I'm going to end there. Hopefully I've planted some seeds there, and over the next few months, along with the amp deep dive, we're going to have some effects and some reverbs, and yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye bye.